Ever witnessed someone so fast on track you doubt you could ever be on their level? The mission of Advanced Motorsports is to demonstrate the speed is achievable for everyone. With the expertise of some of the best sim drivers in North America, we are set to release free content on social media and comprehensive guides on our website. For those seeking the ultimate experience, our Advanced Motorsport Institute and personalized coaching sessions are the way to go. No matter your level of experience, we invite you to follow us on our social media to learn to be fast.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Tonight, the battle for the championship is on. Who will pick up the crowns? Who will pick up the glory? And who will walk out of tonight as a champion? Welcome to the PRL and its coverage of the Truck Series here on RaceSpot. I'm just Principal alongside me, Derek Watson, Dane Bear producing as we get set for the finale from iRacing's virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And when talking about Las Vegas, Derek, this is the place where you can gamble. You can try and take risks, but this is the chance to finish the story of the championship for Season 1.
Man, and what a great opportunity to finish the story here. You're going to be all in on the strategy. You're going to roll the dice. You're going to hope it just comes up the way you want it to. And in both races tonight, Justin, we have drivers right on the verge of winning either the first or another season championship. Let's look how we got here. Believe it or not, back on January 3rd was the first race in Kentucky. Here we are to almost 2 full calendar months later, Justin, we crown our first Season 1 champion of 2024 in the Truck Series and the Grand Nationals as later. And man, since with the holidays and the preseason race, I feel like it's been a long time and a long road to get here.
And in turn, remember, we've had a mixture of essentially fantasy tracks, ones that are not on the current racing schedules in NASCAR today. And then the last 3 races are part of the current NASCAR competition of real-world races. 2 of those super speedways, mind you. Those super speedways, in turn, have really caused a shakeup, so to speak, for the championship. Patrick Calgill enters tonight just 6 points up over Stephen Kirby. Keep in mind, Kirby had a +8 advantage after the race when it came to the last time at Atlanta. Miguel Angel Fonseca, meanwhile, had a rough one. That puts him essentially out of contention. 33 points back. No ability to use the drop from here on out, obviously. Andrew Sharp trying to hold on to a top 4 for Zach Panzarella. Amongst those also looking for top 10 chances, Tanner Johnson, Marty Calvert, along with Ryan Latshaw. It's been an interesting season for the team perspective as well, as these drivers look to try and solidify that as well. RBM Shake, they've been really shaking things up. RBM Bake, they've lost their shake, a part of that baking process. But Whataback Racing Speedworks looks to try and see if they can make the shake work their way, Derek.
Yeah, it's been a really great process here. It looks like RBM Shake will lock this team points up here. And there's some battles down on here throughout, a little bit closer. But those driver points, I mean, the battle really from 3rd through 8th, maybe, that's going to be the battle to follow tonight. So a lot of great points battles in this first race to follow. I'm excited to see how this all turns out. I'm excited to get going.
And in turn, before we get going for the racing itself tonight, we'd like to remind you tonight's action is brought to you in part by Advanced Sim Racing. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers, Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available on the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount code on ASR products. Mission 5 coupon code. RaceBox offers mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts. For the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. Compellingly priced and carefully handcrafted, our button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit RaceBoxSimRacing.com and get a 5% discount code using the Precision 5 coupon code. Butt Kicker products add incredible immersion and realism to every game. For every nuance, enjoy putting yourself in the driver's seat. Moranis is a performance lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. For more information, visit Moranis.com. Mr. Hedge, iRacing Photography. Capture your finest, proudest, and simply worst moments from your hobby in up to 8K resolution. A great addition to any sim room. And by Advanced Motorsports. Get ready to learn to be fast with Advanced Motorsports. Follow them on their socials to become a better driver. And a reminder before tonight's action, signups are open for Season 2 for the PRL and all their series. Do you want to be a part of this series? Do you want to be a part of the Grand National Series taking place later tonight or any other series? Visit PrecisionRacingLeague.com to learn how you can be a part of next season's grid. So as drivers get things set to go, we're about a minute away from the starting grid procedure here tonight, Derek. The championship on the balance tonight, need to do well. A matter of sheer importance if you want to be a champion.
Yeah, being a champion means doing everything right, and especially in only a 9-week season, it means being consistent every time you come out here. That's what's important. But look at the board here, JP. Couple of names up top that's surprising. Evan Williams currently on the pole as we wrap this thing up, but there's Stephen Kirby up in second, and Calgill in fourth. So these guys understand what they need to do.
With the racing being compared by some to being like a super speedway, but at 1.5 miles, not like Atlanta, which had the super speedway package, mind you. Draft going to be critical. That track position, very critical as the night progresses. Of note, John T. Jones, Colton Easterday, Tanner Johnson, Marty Calvert, all a part of the non-qualifying allowed club. Blaine Adams also is a member of that club. However, is not a part of tonight's starting grid. Droppers finishing up the qualifying procedure. In turn, 30 drivers, one of the largest grids of the season, look to start us off for the finale. Evan Williams starts on the pole tonight. The pole time 4 1,000ths quicker over Stephen Kirby. Andrew Sharp starts alongside Patrick Calgill. That outside row 1 and 2, your ones to watch. Kevin McGarvey starts alongside Colton Easterday inside the top 6. So Colton Easterday missing the memo involving some of the penalties in the previous rounds. Garrett Austin and Brett Adams, the top 8. Jake Mackey, he's now an uncle. He starts alongside Mike Richter. Matthew Ellica starts alongside Tanner Johnson. Inside the 13th spot, Mike Toomer Jr. be alongside Marty Calvert. Then it's Austin Hunter alongside Edward Peltz along with Bill Beaver. 19th spot today, going the way of Kyle Dewey, getting a little bit Red Bully, as it's John Mankowski in 20th. Zachary Austin looking to see if Flamingos are the way to go up front. Then it's Ryan Lapshaw, Stacey Hunter, and Antonio Bannister, the top 24. The last of the drivers, 2 set times today, Tom Massey and John Jones. Then the rest of the field, not a lot of qualifying, including Fonseca, Panzarella, Hunter, and Miller, all of the drivers who did not set times here today. So as the drivers get themselves situated and ready to go, 30 on track, let's take a look at how the conditions are. After all, it's similar to that of C-Fix this week. The SOF race just having the same temperatures and start time. 81 degrees Fahrenheit, 78 the air temperature. The track temperature is the former of those temps. 4:31 the start time. And in turn, remember, 40 minutes up on the clock.
Yeah, 40 minutes up on the clock. There's no lap count here. That's an important thing to remember. I'm going to come back to a point you made, though, JP, when you said this. So some people are comparing this to a drafting track and a drafting package. The one thing that I think is different, though, these trucks are not set up to draft completely. These trucks do get a little loose on you out of nowhere, especially out of 2 and 4. This is going to be a little different to see who can control that truck, who can conserve the tires, and who is able to hold on to this truck the best.
So just about ready to go here. Who do you think's got it? Are you going Team Kirby or Team Cowgill?
Man, I mean, Kirby's had an amazing season, but Patrick has really just pulled out a couple wins and really fought through a lot of adversity. I think my heart says Cowgill. My brain says Kirby. I'm probably going to go Team Cowgill here.
Just about set and ready to go. Evan Williams setting things up. Stephen Kirby starting alongside of the front row. We're glad to have you with us for tonight's coverage of the PRL's Truck Series. It's season finale here from Vegas. Evan Williams in control. The green flag is out. We're racing from Vegas. To a strong start, Evan Williams leads things on lap 1. He's already single file, but as to be expected tonight, 2x2, the name of the game. Over the course of the race, top and bottom line on fresh tires expected to do well here tonight, Derek.
Yeah, this top lane does well here at Vegas. What it's going to require, Justin, is a little bit of patience from those drivers up there to stay in line and make it work. A lot of times what happens in the top lane at non-plate tracks or non-super speedways is these drivers will get impatient and pull down to the bottom because they just want to be in line and go faster. This top line will move if they all stay in line.
So as they position themselves around the racing circuit right here, already McGarvey amongst those, trying to make some cuts on the inside. That top line, already seeing your championship competitors sinking quickly. The bottom line can be quicker in the first couple laps, mind you. It is the shorter distance around after all.
Yeah, now what that means, though, being the shorter distance around, you're going to turn a little harder into those corners. So if this stays green for a while, eventually your drivers who hug the bottom, Justin, they will wear those tires out a little faster than the drivers who want to ride up top. Oh, man, we're seeing a truck way wide up there. Got up there quickly. Got a little nervous, but he's got it gathered together here and down this back straight.
Oh, that's wow. The race leaders looking to shuffle up front. You know who's looking towards that lead? We haven't seen the Gold Octopus be up front most of the season. Garrett Austin looking to change that. He's going for second and a crash behind him. 2 drivers off of the grass. No caution. We stay green. The drivers that you've seen sliding, Philip Beaver, Dylan Schmidt, we keep racing.
Yeah, below the racing line into the grass even, so they're going to keep it moving, and we'll keep racing under green. You can see Schmidt and Beaver there. Not sure what happened to them, but yeah, they just got together there in the middle of the tri-oval. Back to the lead here. Man, Evan Williams is doing a great job controlling that bottom line, Justin. Getting a great push here from Garrett Austin. That push is what's important here. But just like a drafting track, Austin could push him too far out, and then the rest of the pack could catch them pretty quickly.
Race control is clearing any black flags from the save, by the way, into turn 1. Both drivers had gone below the commitment cone for the pit exit. So race control will allow them to keep racing without having to serve that black flag for saving their trucks. That being said here, somebody needs to situate somewhere. Cowgill situating up top side for now. Kirby situating at the bottom of the racetrack in that battle for the championship. And in turn, Kirby is doing what he needs to do here. He needs to make some passes and hopes Cowgill drops back, though, to have enough separation in theory.
Yeah, that's what needs to happen. We'll see how it plays out here across the next 36 minutes. Here's the replay on the bottom of your screen. This will be with Beaver and others in the bottom of your screen. Right there in the middle of the tri-oval, it's going to be in the second. Right there. Oh, sorry, I'm top of your screen, not bottom. I apologize for the wrong orientation. But yeah, just that contact right there. Just everyone bunched together. No matter whether you're triples monitors, whether you're single monitor, whether you're VR, sometimes it's just hard to know how clear you are or aren't in that moment.
And in turn, a good save, able to keep things going for the time being. Colton Easterday, once those also trying to battle inside the top 3. And tire saving could be pretty critical here. The fuel run expected to be up to 46 if you get a caution, maybe 49, 50 laps if you're able to clutch and coast a little bit. However, as we've seen over the years here at Vegas, you have to get the strategy exact. Otherwise, you could be in trouble.
Yeah, you have to get it exact. Otherwise, you're in a lot of trouble. But I am suspecting that the tires are the story here and not the gas. The gas is definitely a story, but I'll be surprised if some of these tires hold out as long as the gas tanks do, is what I'm trying to say. And look at this run on the outside. That 77 is committed up there, Justin. He is stuck there and is slowly making moves. He's slowly inching his way closer and closer. You know what I don't see, though, and what I'm surprised in a happy way? Look how little side drafting there is. These guys are being so safe about it that they're doing it without side drafting. And now I say now we're going to do it a little bit, but I'm in so much awe that these guys have the whereabouts to know how dangerous side drafting is in iRacing.
All this as well, that top line, as we were talking about, is starting to make some inroads. Already about 11 laps in, this is when that top line starts to rubber in a little bit. Now, that being said, it's going to take precision in terms of not just what line you're in, how you drive the track, but also your lane choice. Because one of the main characteristics of Las Vegas, if you are in the wrong line when the preferred groove changes, you're going backwards. If you're in the right groove and you're able to make the right choices per the lap total, you're in the driver's seat for the race lead.
Yeah, it's the difference between hitting the jackpot and going home broke is what it is. And man, right now, the 77's right there, pulling the 31 along. Cowgill doing a great job here. And it's being patient for now. Knows he doesn't need to push it just yet. Still more than half a race left. But make sure he's in position in case something happens here. You know, the key that I think everyone told me when I talked to him this week, you know, even before today, was, listen, if it is a drafting race, which it kind of looks like from this angle, you still want to be up front, because there's that belief in a drafting race that typically the guys up front are sometimes immune from whatever's going to happen.
And as the patience game really settles itself on in, here's a look for one of the onboards. This is from the top groove. Patrick Cowgill for Speedworks. And an interesting time coming into today. We talked about some superstitions with the paint schemes, but he is in prime position if he's able to get a good enough finish here to get himself a title here in the PRL. You had some of the discussions before, and oh look, he's got a Lego set now.
Yeah, been building that Lego set. Actually, it's a remote-controlled Lego set. He showed me some videos earlier of moving back and forth. He's actually going to put some LED lights inside it, which I had to tell him, listen, depending on what state you live in, cars are not street legal if they have lights on the inside of them or on the bottom side of them. So, but yeah, that's a beautiful Lego set he's got there next to him. And look at his hands, though. He's really kind of fighting this car or this truck party. And I'm not surprised. That's what this racing's been all week across all the series, is really fighting this truck and staying in a draft are the two key factors to doing well at Vegas.
By the way, that time by a new race later, McGarvey getting the first time up in the 77 to the point. A big thing about how the leaders are faring out here, by the way, these two are the ones basically eating up all the bonus points. You've got the pole sitter going the way of Williams. That's away from the championship runners. That lap, currently McGarvey and Williams. That being said, you can still get the fastest lap. You can still battle for the most laps led. And better yet, you can be Calgill and just lead. He's nearly clear for second.
Yeah, and in a pack like this where we are drafting, typically the driver, fourth or fifth back, maybe even deeper, will be your fastest lap because they're going to suck in all that draft. There'll be that big hole punched in the air, and they'll be the ones. So it may not be Calgill or, it may be someone like a Stephen Kirby, a Brett Adams, a Tanner Johnson back there at 8, 9, 10, who's more likely to get the fastest lap because of how drafting works. But, man, it looks like that Calgill is eager to get up there.
The Calgill trying to match tire to tire. He does have the teammate in front. So we'll see if Calgill makes the move. There he goes. Wreck in the back. Calgill needs to make it fast. He's able to get the pass done. No caution. We stay green. It's Zachary Austin from the 18th position making contact with Zach Panzarella.
That's unfortunate for both. I was trying to say for Zach, and as I got to be more specific, as two Zachs were involved. Panzarella's had a bit of a hard time in the official races he's done this week, kind of trying to find a groove and, get comfortable. So we'll have to see what happened between the two there. It's unfortunate for both of them to see the contact, but, man, it felt like Calgill must have known that happened because he instantly got to the inside and took the lead just in case the caution came out. But right now, this puts Patrick Calgill one more point to the good as far as trying to claim that title.
So as things currently stand, the point tally, now with the lead lap about 7, here's the reason for the contact. Started with some air in between, then the air decided to turn into non-air.
Yeah, that was interesting from this angle to see if, I don't know if one of them's got a little loose or tight and the car wasn't behaving the way they wanted. But you're right, they just sort of got together and got involved, and looks like probably Zachary Austin got the worst of that, of the two.
So the pattern continuing up at the point. An interesting piece of feedback in terms of the Lego set. Apparently, per Mark Galen, who is a teammate to Patrick Calgill, it's got moving parts, but it's not remote control. I was going to say, I don't think I've seen in years one of the Lego sets unless it's one of those kinetic kits that you're able to build in those robotics classes.
Well, I'll have to go back and look at the video I got today, as I saw the thing moving for sure, and I thought it was moving via remote. I might have been wrong about that, so we'll take a look and see later what that was about, or I will take a look and see. But right now, there's a couple different points battles going on. Obviously, Patrick Calgill is doing his best regarding the battle for first and second. The second battle is for third, fourth, and fifth. That's Fonseca, Sharp, and Panzarella. And right now, Andrew Sharp up in P4 is looking to lock that up. What an amazing season he's had, JP. A driver who's typically known for the GT Force here in PRL. And there's a second look at it. You're right, Austin. I was right. Austin definitely got the worst of it. But Sharp said he's coming back for season 2. He's loved these vehicles. He's not ready to go back to the road courses yet.
I mean, going back to the road courses isn't fully his choice. That is going to be down to how iRacing schedule is, how NASCAR schedule is. There are road courses in the next part of the schedule, so road courses are coming back. You can tell drivers are going to have fun.
Yeah, next season will definitely probably encompass COTA at some point, at least for the Grand National drivers, and there'll be some other road courses around there as well. But they're sharp up in P4, part of Battle Bus, doing a great job here. And there you see Andrew there live on the webcam, really stoic and having a good time. If we can see the back of that truck, last week I was told there was a big Buc-ee's advertisement on the back of this truck that we kind of got called out for not seeing. If we can get him clear long enough to see the back of this truck. We were told it was awesome to see.
I didn't see it either last week, I'll be honest. I do see rust on the truck in the bus now, but I do see thank the bus driver for everyone's favorite game.
There you go. Well, that is the back end of that truck for Andrew Sharp, and he really has. I mean, I'm very impressed at what he's done. Obviously, a very talented driver, you know, a seasoned member of iRacing, but to come in here and do so well, and really in the middle of the season hit a stride. If he had just had 1 or 2 races in the beginning where he had done well, getting his feet under him, he'd probably be racing for the points title tonight.
Yeah, and he already has showed speed on the road courses we've seen in his time. After all, that's where his background is when it comes to GRE6s in PRL competition. Right now, he's currently doing well in the ovals, holding off Brett Adams as the field goes from double wide to single file for the most part. That being said here, we are about halfway to the fuel run, so expecting pit stops fairly soon. We're 6 minutes to halfway already.
Yeah, and if you're a driver right now, because of some of the racing we've had lately that's really been a lot of green flag racing in the past few weeks, it feels like, you let those statistics kind of give you that fallacy of thinking, listen, it's good, clean racing. Maybe I should pit it halfway. Maybe I should just, you know, pit under green. And you let this data into your head. But, like, is it good data? Just because we had a lot of green flag racing at Atlanta, or just because we had a lot of green flag racing at Daytona, does that necessarily equate to green flag at Vegas? That's the thing you have to work out in your head. I suspect we'll see some drivers cut this right in half so that they know what the truck will feel like as the race ends. Also, I'm surprised, JP, no one here is running the apron. Oh, yellow, yellow, yellow.
Caution flag is out. It's our first yellow of the race. 2 near crashes. This time, Colton Easterday hard against the wall. The dinner detective. We'll have to see who he's on the case, and I have a feeling the 413 may be the culprit as he nearly spins the pace truck for good effort.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happened between the two and who's at fault here. That's Fonseca, driver trying to battle for P3. Look at that. Got involved in the iRacing wreck, JP. Still a 92 BPM heart rate.
And you can see him trying to talk it over with his, I believe, teammates and friends of what just happened there. So at least 2 drivers against the wall. Remember, Fonseca already having not allowed to qualify penalty from what happened at Atlanta Motor Speedway and Super Speedway configuration. So this could make the fuel strategy interesting, to say the very least. You can make it from here. Should see the tires be able to make it if you're careful. However, how will this race now go now that you have 1 less set? There is 1 extra set, interesting enough, Derek, compared to officials see fixed because of the extra distance.
Yeah, so that's the big question is, I mean, I suspect with how tight this will be on gas, it will be doable, but we'll definitely see some drivers probably sitting there at 80% throttle in the draft just to make sure they have enough gas for this race. It's hard to calculate that sometimes in a timed race because you don't exactly know how many laps we're going to get. You can do your estimates based upon the length of the yellow and other things, but it's not always perfect. So I think there'll be maybe some drivers who calm down a little bit and try to get this going. But yeah, everyone's going to get tires here, and I suspect everyone will hope for another yellow in a little bit so they can get a second set of tires on here. But man, look at that battle off of pit road.
A great pit stop for Evan Williams, especially pit box number 1. And we get him back to second. Here's the reason for the contact.
Yeah, Easterday just didn't get the memo, I don't think. They were 3 wide, and someone didn't tell him.
Mike Tuber Jr. was the one on the very top side. But everyone, as to be expected, 4 tires and fuel during the pit stop sequence. In turn, Patrick Calgill leading just a few minutes away from the halfway mark in this respective race. At this point, panic mode possibly for Kirby. For others, panic mode is already engaged from this.
Well, let's watch this replay one more time. Yeah, there's Easter days came up, and I don't know. I mean, obviously there was trucks on top of him. I don't know if he just thought he was clear or thought he had more space, but when you're 3 wide at Vegas, you don't really have that much space. The panic mode also, I think, in a weird way, Justin, is going to come out for Calgill here, because you and I just had a dialogue about how the gas mileage is going to be close and how, you know, it's going to require a little bit of thought. Well, if you're Patrick Calgill and you go out here and you lead all these laps after this yellow, you're going to burn more gas. If I was Calgill, I might be okay letting Evan Williams get back around me and falling in line for a little bit and save some gas.
The counterpoint is the more pace laps you run here too, the more these drivers are good to go on the gas. That's why we didn't see too many just top off and the one to go signal next time by, outside of Amasi, Mankowski, and of course Easterday, who has damage. That being said, you never know if you're going to get another caution, am I right?
Yeah, that's the question mark. That's the house playing with the extra deck, if you will, the unknown part of the gamble that you're taking. I'm surprised a few more people didn't come in for the top off than just the ones you named, just to be safe here, but we'll see here. Panzarella now apologizing, by the way, to Zachary Austin, so he's taking credit for whatever happened on the back straight earlier.
Coming up to the one to go signal this time by Calgill, Williams, McGarvey, Brett Adams, Garrett Austin, Sharp, Kirby, Austin Hunter, Dewey, Calvert, your top 10. So they get in position and ready to go for this one. And touching back upon the storyline of Mackey, it was just today, as touched upon during the grid, that he became an uncle. He starts 12th for the restart. Today, getting their start to life, it was Kyla Grace Mackey. Congratulations to the Mackey family. Congratulations as well, once again, to Jake on becoming an uncle.
Yeah, and also real quick, if we can get a shot at Jake here, he is running a brand new paint scheme this week. It's got a new blacksmithing company out of Montana that's sponsoring him. So congrats on the new sponsor there for Mythic Metals, it looks like it says. So Jake's had a very busy day here, a new niece and a new paint scheme.
A lot of new things. Can he find his way up to the front, though? Be able to wield the sword of victory. Oh, wait, that's Texas. In Bristol. Well, technically, officials going to Bristol next week. That being said, 19 minutes to go. Calgill, right now, right where he needs to be running if he wants a championship. Green flag, we're backing away. And the pressure is on for Kirby. He needs to make passes, and he needs to make them right this moment. If not, in the next couple minutes, this will lose him ground and then some for the championship. Not only that, he needs some strategy to be able to get Calgill shuffled back here with the way it's shaping up.
Yeah, remember, Kirby came into tonight 6 points back to start the night. At this point, Calgill has already led a lap, so that's going to put him 7 points back, not counting.
Oh, no,
they're running
trouble.
on the track. Hold on, trouble.
Half the field crashes, Tanner Johnson and more. And we're under caution as Mike Richter. Hard contact for a lot of others to the outside wall. Half the field just imploded at the back of the field. Edward Peltz, Tanner Johnson, Stacy Hunter, John Jones, and more.
Wow, that was massive. Edward Peltz is done. He has that, the bad smoke, the gray smoke coming out the back of the truck. He is done. Let's watch this replay here. What? Oh, somebody got loose. That's the Red Bull truck. Just got loose on its own.
Kyle Dewey. And that took out a lot of fast trucks with that slide.
Wow, that was massive and sudden. I'm hoping there's a view or two we can get from behind that wreck to see how fast it formed, because he was loose and then cars just sort of just piled in. As you said, it looked like an explosion on track, and pit road is massively busy here. This is going to be crazy. Well, what this does do, by all accounts, JP, I think this closes the fuel discussion for the leaders effectively.
Yeah. Going for GWCs if necessary. Take a look at the replay as here's what Barney's seeing.
Oh, think about it. Think about it. Think about it, Barney. There it is.
He just had to enjoy the view of all the destroyed race cars first.
Well, you know, Barney doesn't get to make that decision himself. Someone had to get in his ear and tell him, put it out. There's John Jones taking the Legends course there, by the way.
Yeah, just said, you know what, let's park it. Because he's got the meatball flag. Of note, Mike Toomer Jr. had to go down pit road, has had his black flag cleared due to dodging the incident. So with that being said, Brett Adams took the lead as everybody started crashing in the mid-pack. Perfect timing for the 23 to get the lead.
Yeah, that's great timing for him to get the lead. I'd be curious. It couldn't have been by much. He had the lead before that came out, but wow, that's got to be one of the more sudden wrecks I've seen in a long time here in PRL or in any league, actually, I think.
For Brett Adams, we've seen him do well in a couple races. This is now his best chance to get a win this season. He's only had one top 5 all 2024 season 1.
And it should be worth noting, of course, you know, there is the PRL All-Star race next week that will encompass winners from all of the leagues. So drivers, if they win tonight, who have not won yet, including Brett Adams, would qualify for that All-Star race. So there's a number of drivers who do have a goal here of getting into that special race. And that race will be live here on RaceSpot next week, so you can see that. And wow, but what this does do in a weird way, you know, depending on how many trucks actually come out of this okay, this is a major benefit to Patrick Cowgill. Justin, watch this wreck again. Watch him. It's gonna. You see the Red Bull truck get loose and all around it. That top line just becomes a cloud of smoke. Man, that's dangerous. But I was going to say, this benefits Cowgill because the less trucks that are running, I guess it raises his minimum, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does. And he's still, as long as he doesn't lose about 6 or 7 spots, he's right now still where he needs to be, up at the front. Now for Brett Adams, he's the interesting note in terms of this battle up here. For Brett Adams, he's a 2-time winner already in the Truck Series. He hasn't won since, well, last season. You know when the previous win before that was? 2020 Season 4.
Wow.
He'd really like to shrink that gap between wins from about 4 or 5 years on average to how about a season?
That would feel nice. I'll tell you that. That would be a great relief for Brett here. And so now we'll see Patrick Cowgill line up on the outside. The first time in forever. That's where he started, but a row back earlier. But the good news for Brett Adams, he's got a great pusher in Kevin McGarvey right behind him. And then the 6 of Evan Williams, our pole sitter, will push Cowgill around.
Give credit to Williams. This has been, so far at least, his best back-to-back stretch of the season. To close it out at least, it's a positive. 41 points last time out at Atlanta. He was a front runner for parts of the day there. First top 5 of the season there. He also picked up a top 10 in the race beforehand, so not a bad way to carry momentum for next season. That being said, 13 minutes is up on the board. That gives us an estimated 26-ish laps to work with. Brett Adams and his Toyota in control. Off goes Benny, the pace car driver. Adams Family Racing's Brett Adams on the low pedal brings us back to green, and he is way gone. perfect start. Never mind, because he nearly spun it trying to block off McGarvey.
It's just a great sign of what I said earlier. These trucks can suddenly snap loose on you and be really scary to hold on to. And that really killed any lead he had here. Now look at the outside forming, and they're going to get around him, I think, right here out of 4.
Not so fast yet, but there is a hard side trap from Calgill. Already some blocking to the very top of the racetrack in the mid-pack. Calgill has the momentum, but doesn't have the preferred line for now. Adams looking comfortable in the short run at least.
Yeah, looking very comfortable here now. Adams is trying to do this part where he's going to try to control both lanes, but man, came really close, pulling up a little too late that time when he got up to the high side. Let's see if he can do it again. Nope, not clear, so he'll stay to the bottom.
Keep in mind that's going to hurt him on corner exit in terms of some of the tire wear numbers. That is something to factor in as the run progresses here. But right now, Brett is doing what he needs to be doing. We've seen this the last time he led. Just control the pace. Garrett Austin says, not so fast. It's 3 wide. Golden Octopus time.
Garrett Austin just said, hey, I'm tired of drafting. I'm tired of following. I want to lead. And he's going to right there out of 4 on the bottom lane. And new leader. Oh, yellow. We have another yellow.
More crashing at the back of the field. And this time around, it's Jordan Miller. The 17 truck is not having a good night, and he's towed it. The Athens, Alabama machine is right now trying to live, play, and belong. And so far, it has not been a fun time to play.
No, it really hasn't. Just had a very rough time tonight. We'll wait and see if we can get a race spot replay of what happened to bring that yellow out.
Now, for those curious on where that line came from, that is actually the slogan for Athens, Alabama, per his truck. But the gold octopus, well, why not choose this to be the time he gets a top 5 on the season? Here's where the 17 went spinny spin.
See right here on the screen. Oh, again, another driver just almost clearing himself off of someone's nose. We saw this earlier with Colton Easterday, and now with the 17, this got a little too high there in this banking. Yep, on top of, is that the 19, I think it was?
Yeah, couldn't really tell at the glance, but we can definitely tell you the blowing glance to the wall is giving a meatball flag to Miller.
Yeah, it was Nicholas Hunter, by the way, the 19 that he came across the hood of.
That's our spotter, by the way, for the Grand National race. Remember that championship coming to a close. And the next race, that is at 9:30 estimated start. Be sure to never change the dial or the website or anything, ever, RaceSpot, for you can watch everything race car on iRacing.
That's true. You could watch a lot of stuff. Hey, speaking of Nicholas Hunter, JP, he's got a good news, bad news scenario going on. The good news is in his neighborhood this week, they are installing fiber internet. So soon, Nicholas Hunter will be on fiber internet. The bad news, they had to mess with some things, and he currently has no home internet. So he is racing on a mobile hotspot tonight.
Well, I'll say to that, based on the fact we haven't seen a single major technical blip outside of every incident around the 19, he's currently not looking like he's on a cell phone connection because he's not turning into Casper the Ghost.
Pretty solid connection, so I guess a good, solid endorsement for whatever mobile hotspot he's using. But yeah, the good news is getting fiber internet soon. I'm a little jealous, but yeah, I said today, a few hours ago, the internet went out, so he's not sure when to be on, so he decided to use the mobile hotspot. But you're right, Nick's a great friend and advocate for RaceSpot. Does come up here and talk to us in our ears during the Grand National Series and help us know what's going on around the track. So thank you to Nick, not only for your admin work, but for coming and helping us all season. It's been a great season. It's been 9 weeks full of action, and you know, in a series, JP, when it used to be 10 weeks, they took that 1 week off and turned it into a preseason practice race. And I was unsure what the 9 weeks would do compared to the 10. But I think it's just made every race a little bit more important this year.
I mean, it's one race, less race to be able to score points.
That's right. Yeah.
That's kind of epitypical of how tight, much more important it is when you have about 48 to 50 less points on hand.
Yeah, very much so. And so it means there's, one less race to have a drop race in. And yeah, you're right. It just makes the points a little bit closer and makes it a little bit more fun. Makes the things feel like they move faster in a 9-week schedule. It's hard to believe we're already at finale night here with 2 drivers trying to claim this title. Speaking of which, by the way, Stephen Kirby still back in 9th. Having a hard time tonight. When I talked to Kirby, told me he was going to try to qualify up front and keep it there and stay out of trouble and see where it shakes out. So obviously right now it's having a hard time with that goal, but and the clock is ticking. Oh my gosh, I just realized, JP, we are now less than 7 minutes.
And if it stays green from here, it depends on how many minutes there are on the clock for the green. It could be one of the final, if not the final restart. Right now, the estimate, as they come to the line, about 14 laps. Expect that to be maybe more so 10-ish. Point of no return is confirmed. Race control has just noted the next caution could end the race.
And what that does for Stephen Kirby is it really adds a sense of urgency to everything he does right now. He cannot be patient. He's going to have to push in 3 wides. He's going to have to maybe push 3 wide in the middle and get up there. He doesn't have time to wait because any caution that maybe he's not involved in, maybe he has no part in, will put an end to this race. When I talked to Patrick Calgill, he said he was nervous. He said he oftentimes when he gets in this moment right here of being in a points leader spot, he gets nervous and he'll sometimes mess up and make some silly mistake. Well, right now, JP, he's done just about as perfect of a run as you could have for someone who's trying to win a points title.
For Garrett Austin, though, he's trying to win a truck race. After all, the Gold Octopus hasn't had a chance to be able to step on the podium, hasn't had a chance to step inside the top 5, has tried to go down swinging in multiple different situations when he's been in contention. Usually with the Octopus arms have been, and tentacles have been ripped off. For Garrett Austin, he's in control for the green. 5 minutes to go. Point of no return this minute. And remember, the control truck hasn't had the greatest of launches by turn 3 the past couple restarts. Calgill sets up the pass. Caution. And this could get interesting. It's borderline. It's Nicholas Hunter around in the 19. And he got help from Zach Panzarella and company as once again we're under yellow.
Man, I know the admins just said point of no return, but that feels so much time left on the clock here, JP. I don't know if they're going to undo that call or not, because that felt, it's hard to believe we're going to spend 5 minutes under yellow here. So we're going to wait and see what happens. I don't know, but wow. If you're Calgill right now, obviously you're rooting for them not to change their minds. If you're Stephen Kirby, you're praying for them to change their minds.
And if this race does end here, they are catching up to the pace car with under 4 minutes, mind you. It'd be Garrett Austin's first win on Wednesday nights in the PRL. And what a race for him to do it in, because he was one of the drivers who was trying really hard at Atlanta as well for the dub. And then we see what happened when boom confetti went the field.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what's happened. So, I mean, this would be a great win for him if he can make it happen.
So we'll see where the timing lays out. 3 minutes on the clock. Remember, there are lap trucks still on track. So at least 3 pace laps. There's the caution.
Yeah, you're going to see Nicholas Hunter just kind of comes down in front of Panzarella. I mean, really, I was watching to see what happened. Oh, there's an extra hit on Hunter right there, but they were 3 wide, and I think Hunter thought he was higher than he was, started to come down, and really there was nowhere that Panzarella or the truck below him could go. They were just sort of stuck there, so Nicholas Hunter came down and made contact It was Panzarella in the 4 truck below him. But yeah, right now, Patrick Calgill running in second. Big smile on his face. He must think it's over. He's got a big grin. He must think he has this wrapped up. Look at him doing the little wiggle.
It's not fully over until the checker flag waves from Barney. However, right now we're already looking at an average of 1 minute per pace lap. And he's already getting, it looks like, the celebratory drinks ready. With 2 minutes to go. We might get the 1 to go signal on the final minute of the clock. But it might be up to the sim if we get a restart.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here. We're going to wait and see. This is the big mystery of timed races. I know we get questions about this every week after the broadcast about, you guys don't know. No, we don't know. We're as unsure as anyone else. We're just kind of watching those blinking lights on the top of the pace truck. When they go out, that means 1 to go. And we just came under there with about a minute 40. It's hard to think. I don't know. I've been wrong about this before, so I don't want to risk it again, but it's hard to think we're going green. But yeah, Patrick looks pretty confident. He thinks we're done. He said, like I said, taking that drink in, doing a little wheel shake. And I don't know, he's kind of gotten a little bit more serious. Maybe he knows something that I don't know about this.
Now, keep in mind, in the sim, the drivers, not the people watching the sim from the broadcast perspective. From the driver's seat, you can be told by race control 2 to go, 1 to go, how many laps from the race control for the time, essentially. If he's up on the wheel like this, it's looking like they're being careful just in case. As a part of me, that appears to be one of our championship drivers for Grand National Series competition rudely interrupting us. Yeah. That being said, it's under 30 seconds on the clock when we get to the start and finish line. It could straight up be what flag Barney's holding. By the time they come around next time by, 20 seconds on the clock. Garrett Austin trying to hold on, and it looks like the celebrations are coming over the radio. Lights out on top of the iRacing pace car. The field is already giving congratulations to Austin.
Yep, so I think the admins are going to make the call here just to let the caution stand. I think the sim, weirdly enough, in a timed race, JP, what would happen here if the admins don't step in? The sim would want these drivers to basically race from the restart zone to the finish line in a timed race. And a lot of admins don't let that happen because this is so dangerous and pointless. But yeah, great job to Garrett. Austin appears to be our winner of tonight's race. Calgill in second appears to have wrapped that up. And I'm guessing Andrew Sharp up in P5 means he will come home third in points.
Now, if this ends up being the end of the race, Garrett Austin would have his first career PRL win. He'd also be the first Garrett to get a win in the history of the Precision Racing League. Expect the pace truck to drop off. If it is down to a sprint, the field's frozen. Should be just a simple jog from here. Checker flag displayed. Checker flag from Barney. Garrett Austin is a winner of the PRL. And Patrick Calgill gets second. He is your Truck Series champion for 2024 Season 1.
There you go. First time winner to end off the PRL truck season. And he will be invited to the PRL All-Star Race.
And oh no, the sim just gave him a black flag before he can celebrate. Race control will give Garrett Austin the official win. So keep in mind, all results unofficial. Everybody loving that Garrett Austin just got the win. The Gold Octopus is a race winner. But even more so, as things need to get sorted out, Patrick Calgill, while it may not show it on the official result, is the driver who will be your champion. Patrick Calgill wins the truck title.
Yeah, what a great night, Patrick. What a great job of race management, staying up front all night and getting those very, very valuable points. Now doing the burnouts here.
It's a burnout party as the field is making it simple. Use the grass. We want you to use the grass to celebrate.
In fact, I think they're currently teaching Garrett Austin how to do burnouts because he just sounds like he's never done one before. So that's a cool moment.
And Austin Hunter's making sure the race is over by doing all the laps.
Listen, you paid for the fuel. You might as well use it.
Burnout time all over the racetrack for the trucks. Again, keep in mind, race results will be unofficial on screen because a couple drivers. So at the time of checkered, did get a black flag in sim that will not likely stand. Enter the running order. Bill Bullish victory lap time. Derek, your quick thoughts.
Overall, a very clean and stable race. I know we had a couple yellows in it, but you know, a lot of the drivers did a great job of holding on to this truck and battling the loose abilities of it. A great run here. Everyone should be proud of themselves. These are some really messed up results, JP. We can read them, but they're well out of whack.
Yeah, remember, unofficial is the very big word because of the timing of when the checker flag waved for the restart timings. Essentially, that means Austin Calgill technically in the Sims eyes 21st, 22nd, in reality's eyes 1st and 2nd. Brett Adams, Austin Hunter, Andrew Sharp, Kevin McGarvey. Amongst your top 6, Williams, Kirby, Avocado, along with Fonseca, Smith, and Mackey up there as well. Marty Calvert also had a solid run. He's 11th on your screen, but in reality 13th. Evert Mankowski, Bannister, Panzarella, Jimmer Jr., Amasi, Stacy Hunter, Easterday, and Nicholas Hunter were the last on the lead lap. As mentioned, Austin and Calgill via sim issue were scored 21st, 22nd, but in reality 1st and 2nd. Rounding out the running order, a lap down, Kyle Dewey. Edward Peltz did finish the race 8 laps down. Jordan Miller 10 down, along with Tanner Johnson, who did also finish. Zachary Austin, Ryan Latshaw, John Jones, Mike Richter, the running order here tonight. A lot of drivers making their way down to virtual victory lane to celebrate. A reminder that Season 2 signups are underway. If you liked what you've seen, if you want to become friends with these drivers, if you want to become frenemies with these drivers, if you want them to become your rivals, if you want to see if you're going to be able to beat them and get a chance to race against Ryan Newman on the streets of New York City, go to PrecisionRacingLeague.com. That last note may or may not be real. That being said, a lot of celebrations to get through when it comes to victory lane tonight. First things first, we'll start with the discussion with the champion, Patrick Calgill. He picks up the championship. Patrick, you win the truck championship tonight. How does it feel? Patrick Calgill, do you have a copy?
Sorry, I was pushing the wrong button.
How does it feel to be a champion?
Oh, it's awesome. I couldn't be more happy.
Talk us through the night from the start, because you start off strong with track position, you keep it. What was going through your mind is Kirby started dropping back, but you didn't.
I was kind of looking at that lead pack. They were running that low line, and I knew that was going to kill their tires. So I finally hooked up with Kevin, and we both ran that middle line, which I always felt was the best line at Las Vegas, and it just happened to work out to get us up to the front, and then the cautions just kind of kept falling, and that helped out a lot.
In turn, it's your first PRL championship, first on the Wednesday nights. After all the years in PRL competition, what's going through your mind being finally a PRL champion?
All the nervousness of trying to win races and stuff kind of feels pointless now. Like, I mean, a championship is a heck of a lot better than a race win.
One more thing. I know there was a question about the car. Derek says it's RC. Mark Halen says it's not RC. Now you get to add a trophy to the car. Quick question. Which of it is it, and how are you going to add a trophy to that car?
I have no idea how I'd add a trophy to it, but it is RC, and I can show you real quick.
Yes. Well, how about that?
So right there inside of it's the RC motor.
Yeah, see, I thought you showed me a video of it moving an RC, and Mark was like, no. It's like, I think it is. So,
And then it's got the battery pack inside.
Patrick, before you leave and go celebrate, I have one question. Are you coming back to trucks next season, or what are you doing?
Yes, I'm coming back to trucks next season.
All right. Well, listen, buddy, you've had a lot of diversity this season. I'm proud of you. Good job.
Thank you, guys. And I got to thank my teammates at SRT, Esport, Whataback Racing. Got to thank my sponsors, CTN, NB1 Connect and Cure, RaceSpot Sim Racing, Miracle Flow, and Gomez Sim Industries. And thank you guys for putting on the broadcast and PRL for putting on the league.
Once again, Patrick Calgill, your champion for the trucks here in Vegas. Congrats. Patrick Calgill picking up the championship, but a first-time winner. Just in front of him at the top of checkered. The Gold Octopus, Garrett Austin, the first ever Garrett to win in this series. He's with Derek.
Well, Garrett, what a great job you did and this win. Talk me through, how's it feel to get that monkey off your back and get that first win?
Honestly, like, I couldn't be happier right now. I mean, got my first win. We won the team points for the season. Man, I was holding my breath there probably for the last 10 minutes. I just didn't want to make any mistakes. And I'll be honest with you, I was super happy when I saw that caution flag come out.
So the caution before, you snuck under Patrick right before the yellow came out. I'm just curious, did you have a live spotter telling you there was something coming, or did you just kind of time that perfectly by accident?
That was 100% pure luck. So, yeah, just got very lucky on that.
All right. Well, listen. Well, great job. I'll let you go celebrate. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Patrick. Are you coming back for season 2?
Absolutely. I'm coming back, and all the drivers for RBM Shake and RBM Bake will be back. We're all super pumped for season 2, so bring it on. I do just want to say thank you to all of my teammates. They've helped me out a lot this season with getting better. Also like to say thank you to Rich, who's been taking a lot of time to coach us. So thank you to them. Thank you to you guys for doing the broadcast. And most of all, thank you to my wife for letting me do this every week and watching me and, putting up with me, complaining and everything. So she's been a trooper through it all.
Yeah, that's the important one. The spouses who put up with us, right? Those are the unsung heroes of sim racing. Well, Garrett, congrats on the win. Congrats on the team title. And we'll see you in a few weeks.
All right, thank you very much, guys.
That's Garrett Austin, a first-time winner in his PRL career here tonight. Rounding out the top 3 on the racetrack, by the way. How about, for the first time in a while, Austin Hunter to the broadcast booth? The last time I remember speaking with Austin Hunter, he was in the 312. He was with the Rescue Racing paint scheme on it. And now, you get a top 3, Austin. How are you feeling?
Well, I didn't quite...
Top 5. Close enough. I should rather say, let's get Brett in here, too. 3rd and 4th, Brett Adams, Austin Hunter. Let's do both, because I am bad at numbers, because iRacing does iRacing things. First things first, Brett, talk us through your perspective on a top 5 run, your first top 5 in a little bit.
Yeah, well, first, congrats to Patrick on the championship and Garrett on a good run. He made a great move, a couple cautions before to get underneath me, and what a wreck trying to block it. So good job to those guys. This has been a tough season. A lot of mechanical issues, let's put it, have kept me in the back and a few laps down many races, and chose to race this season in a way that didn't make many friends, and that didn't help out. At least our drafting tracks as well. But overall, it was fun and a good way to end what's probably the last run in trucks here for Adams Family Racing for a while.
I'll get to that question in a split second. Austin, you finished yourself inside the top 5. Welcome back.
Appreciate it. I feel like I've got a little bit of a podium block. I think I have 3 or 4 fourth place finishes, but just need a little bit more to get the top 3.
So with that being said, first things first, Brett, you said not for trucks in a little while. What's the plan for Adams Family Racing?
I think the plan's going to try Xfinity next season and see how that goes. We raced with those guys back in trucks a few years ago, so we're thinking we might try that for the next couple seasons.
What about you, Austin? What's your plan in the Barney truck?
Oh, I'm a trucker for life. I actually can't stand the Xfinity car, so you'll see me in the trucks for as long as I can do it.
Well, guys, it's almost time to go Grand National Racing. Thank you very much for the time. We'll let you get going.
All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for putting on a good show.
Good luck to Brad and the Waterback crew.
That's Brett Adams, Austin Hunter doing a dual interview because numbers are fun. But that closes out the truck side of the schedule. Remember, if you want to be a part of the field, signups are open. Be sure to go to precisionracingleague.com to learn more. But don't go anywhere because it's time to reset. Take a breath and relax. Welcome to RaceSpot's coverage of the PRL Grand National Series and its championship race from the desert in Vegas. Sin City, the host, here on iRacing and on RaceSpot. Justin Prince, Derek Watson once again. Dane Baird once again, your producer tonight, as we get set to go racing in the Grand National cars at 1.5 miles. And last time out, it was an emotional time, not just for the first-time winner, but also in terms of the entire field crashing as James Morgan took the victory. Tonight is a bit of a different racetrack. It is going to likely spread out here.
Yeah, unlike what we just saw in the trucks, expect this race at Vegas and the Grand Nationals to break apart a little bit here. But speaking of Morgan and others, let's take a look at the points and see where we stand. This is a close 3-way battle coming up in the points here. When they load up on the screen, you're going to see it's Bradley Holly, Richard Regan, and James Morgan, 1, 2, and 3 in the points. And while it's going to be a little bit of a long shot, if they ever load, you're going to see that anyone can do it. But right now, Bradley Holly is in the driver's seat. There they are. Bradley Holly's up at 291, and then Regan's at 274, Morgan's at 271. So there's a 17-point and a 20-point difference between second and third up to Bradley Holly. And it's Ted Lowendick. And then Matt Gagnon and Mark Kalin, 5th and 6th. And then actually right there, Reese Bogeblom in 7th. Justin, the story of the season for me is Mark Kalin. I know he's not part of the title race, but he's had an impressive month of February.
Extremely impressive run, to say the very least, throughout the rest of the season. Keep in mind, Bradley Holly, the reason he got in this position, a much better finish after the crazy finale for the race at Atlanta. That being said here, the team side of things, for many seasons, we've seen how Regan Boat Motorsports has been able to come out and play. They look to secure a team championship or Waterback Racing Overdrive. Waterback Racing back row in the 3rd position, coming in for us, the drivers currently trying to battle for spots. Ain't no Waterback girls. Has a chance to get as high as maybe 4th if they get a lot of flying race cars.
Yeah, and that's still a possibility here, right? So, I mean, the team titles pretty much wrapped up for Reese Bogue at the top, and there's some points to be shared around here, but doing a great job all around. It just shows you how competitive everyone can be here towards the middle. I mean, Bowie Esports Alpha, 6 box, only a few points apart. Could catch the Waterback girls, so we'll wait and see how this all plays out. Well, I'm excited. One more race at Vegas, one more roll the dice, one more deal of the cards, one more turn and river before we're done. We wrap up season 2.
I'm not sure what a turn and river is in this context.
That's a poker reference.
I'm not great at poker, okay? After all, it's time to go, whoa, and go, whoa, to the starting grid. After all, the field looks to close it out with 17 starters over the course of 55 minutes. Of note, the driver not allowed to take part tonight, Terry Radford, suspension the remainder of the season, and 2 DNQs for next season. Qualifying already done. Let's see how they will fare out in the Grand National car tonight. Richard Regan Jr., he's the fastest on the racetrack. He set the pole time for the 4th time this season. Thomas Sink finished off 2nd in qualifying, his best qualifying run of the year. Daniel Knight led the way much of the qualifying session until very late. Then it's Adam Zemke, along with James Morgan, Ted Lowendick, the top 6. Dominic Begin, Steve Loving in the top 8. Lane Hawley, your top 10 with Kalen, Nick Baer, Reese Bogue, Nick McLaughlin, amongst your top 14 starters. Keep in mind, amongst those on the final page, Dalton Gayer, along with Jim Westerfield, Jeff Evans, he was borderline about tonight. Interesting enough, he's decided to run, and you had a backstory on that, Derek, because, correct me if I'm wrong, there's supposed to be Roush Racing stuff tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to take a shot and say maybe he didn't do well or he backed out of it. I don't want to, cast aspersions, but yeah, that was a bit of a surprise to me. But tell me he probably wouldn't be here unless the race ended early or he didn't do well. So I'm assuming one of those two things are true.
Well, that's very, very not fun in that regard then. So with that being said, we're about to have some fun for 55 laps, a bit of a longer race compared to the trucks, by at least 15 minutes, obviously. But that being said, summer conditions, your keys to this race tonight.
Well, it's a smaller field, so I think it means we're going to separate out and probably have a better odds of staying green to see the conditions here. 4:32 p.m., 1st of March, and 80-degree track temp, so fairly cool. But I think here it's going to be about driving smart. It's going to be about conserving tires, conserving fuel. I feel confident saying this. I mean, if this race does go yellow, it's going to kill most of the field because there's not only 17 drivers out here. So I think this will stay green longer. I think this is going to take more on-track smartness to get this done.
And to put it straightforward for the championship, with the amount of starters tonight, here's the deal. Richard Regan Jr. on the pole. That helps him on the point side, gets that point tally down by 1. If he didn't get the pole, it likely would have been end of championship. Instead, so long as Bradley Hawley doesn't finish last, it's Hawley's championship to lose.
Yeah, I was doing some math earlier on this too. We'll see how it goes, but green flag's about to come out.
It's time to go racing from Vegas. Grand National style. Green, green, green. We're underway once again from Vegas. The first time around, Daniel Knight already to 2nd. In fact, all the way to 4th. Thomas Sink getting shuffled by James Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan showing off that new black and blue paint scheme, by the way, getting rid of the Jimmy Johnson tribute scheme. So doing a great job here, showing off the team colors and already quickly getting to the front.
And already Morgan saying, who needs short run? Oh, you know what? I do. Track position going to be very helpful with the dirty air. Morgan already providing pressure to Regan Jr. Regan Jr. says, go ahead. I'll see you in a bit.
I talked to Morgan about this today, and Morgan just said, listen, no matter what happens, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I'm here in this spot, running 3rd in points to start the night. He says no matter where he finishes tonight, this is much better than any expectation he had. So he's going to be out here just having fun. He says if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But right now, he's in position maybe to go back-to-back. Of course, last week, a really crazy way to end the race, but it's a win nonetheless.
Mind, we've seen tire saving be an extremely critical mindset for the 56 of Regan Jr. over the years in PRL competition. He's not afraid to just say, I'm going to let you burn your stuff up. Seems to be in that mode right now. Knight not able to close up the gap for now. Dominic Begin is already up from 7th to 4th in 6-box Motorsports' equipment. That 66 doing well to start.
Yeah, a lot of great drivers doing well. Look at the difference in these two races, by the way. Look at the contrast here. Everybody single file running together. No double wide, no 2 lanes. Everyone's being a little bit more calm here.
By the way, of note, our usual spotter, Nick Hunter, we talked about him having internet issues before tonight. He has now informed us that on top of technical issues, he is also currently on overdrive in terms of symptoms, or in overdrive because of the flu.
Yeah, someone dealt with that. Someone dealt with that over the weekend. That is not fun. Get better soon, my buddy. There's Bradley Holly. Got the nice pink look going on in the room and the nice pink look on the car. Currently running P8. Now, he's the only one of the top 3 not to have led a lap so far. So he's hopefully thinking about getting up there and doing that just to level the playing field. Right now, they are 16 and 19 points back on Bradley Holly. And we'll see if Morgan or Regan can maybe take up that crown for leading the most laps.
Now, interestingly enough, I know he usually provides that second camera. I'm not sure what he's got the camera on tonight. That's usually you can't really fully see the webcam. It almost looks like it's on an inflatable.
Yeah, it's a little different, isn't it? So we'll wait and see if it gets a different angle than normal, or there it is. I think it's just a wider view. Looks this is backed out a little bit. So maybe it wants us to see more of the screen, how wide that screen is, or maybe he thought someone was getting too good of data off of the close end of that screen. But yeah, it's definitely pulled back and a little wider this week.
Different perspective each week. I have to ask, though, eventually what it's actually standing on, because it almost looks like it's on floating space or on an inflatable for the stand.
Yeah, it may be. But look at all the additional data he gets as well. Look at it up in the top right. That's a track map overlay, so he can see where everybody is on track. That's really helpful, especially under cautions if you need to get repairs done or if you're trying to figure out how far you are behind the leader. And the top left looks to be a live leaderboard, so he can see where everybody is that he is needing to worry about. So lots of additional data being fed into Bradley Holly. There's the zoom in.
And it almost looks like, I don't know if it's CAPS or another third-party software.
Maybe JRT.
He's added the temperature gauges from the iRacing sim, but also temperature gauges that almost look like for the tires themselves on the left side of the steering column, on top of a second RPM gauge.
Yeah, there's a lot of data here, and that's a hot button topic amongst sim racers. Some people, and I'm in this camp, I don't need all that data. That's too much for me to think about while I'm trying to drive the car. I'm a simple kind of guy. You know, there was a quote in the media this week from Parker Kligerman who just said, listen, race car drivers are simple people. We just like to do, you know, what we're told to do. We don't want all that data. So yeah, I agree with that, but some people love all that data. They love to bring all that in and be able to parse what they want. But right now, Holly's doing a great job, up to 7th, so slowly climbing through the field here, while Morgan and Regan are 1 and 2 at the front.
Well, there is a difference between too much data and streamlined data that can be explained in a straightforward manner to the driver. If we're talking, here's a bunch of numbers, now figure out what the calculations are. That's not going to be helpful. If you're able to streamline that, that really helps as a driver, because those are basically the instructions essentially in that case.
Oh, I agree. That's something I like to talk about all the time with drivers is, okay, you know this data, but do you know what to do with it? And if you don't, then the data is basically pointless to you. And that applies to anything in life. It's data gathering is fun, but if you don't know what to do with the data, or if you don't know how to make that data, you know, spit out answers to you, then why did you bother gathering the data in the first place, right? And so that's how some people feel about the iRacing overlays you can get, is maybe sometimes if you don't know what to do with the data, why do you need it kind of thing. But a great battle going on here with the 48. That's Thomas Sink trying to hold off Steve Loving behind him. It's a nice battle going through the start-finish line. And again, by the way, JP, I want to point out here, and I know the Xfinity cars, the Grand National cars are a little bit more on the loose side of the racing. But again, nobody's using the apron in this race to get a time advantage. That really kind of blows my mind.
I mean, in terms of the Grand National car, it's not really something you expect. The trucks, yeah, could see it. Oh, we have something happening. Nick Bayer, he just got shuffled back and quick. He was gaining some time, and he just lost a lot of it.
Yeah, right there behind Ted Lowendick is Nick Bayer doing a great job getting recovered. Now going to try to race with Ted here and just do their best not to lose that draft pack here and just kind of stay within touch of it.
Now, an interesting thing before today's race, making sure you're able to use all the facilities, very critical. It's worth noting that Nick McLaughlin did not get the chance to use the facilities per what we've been told today, so he is hoping for the caution dance on top of the not rain dance.
Yeah, someone needs to go use a little driver's room, so we'll see if a caution can come out for him. And of course, as this season wraps up, you did bring up the magical, that R word. Of course, it comes into iRacing next week. We won't see it, I'm assuming, in PRL ovals, because there's no talk of it being added to oval cars instantly. We'll see how that rain word gets added into PRL next season. As you said, signups are currently open for PRL Season 2 and for everything, for trucks, Grand Nationals, Formula D. The Thursday night Super Formula League is coming. Sunday night Cup. Everything is coming around, JP. So I'm excited to see how PRL changes with all the updates that are coming next week.
I'll just say this. I'll be very shocked if rain eventually comes to oval, unless rain tires have that advantage in real life. That is an iRacing philosophy. That's the reason I mentioned that.
I mean, there is still the NASCAR road courses, but yeah, I understand your point.
Exactly. Here we go for the lead. Regan Jr. to the inside. Outside, Morgan. And this is what we were waiting and expecting to see. Regan Jr. starting to push, Morgan starting to fall off.
Well, it could be a difference of Morgan falling off. And it could also be that Regan understands now that there's a bonus point for leading the most laps in a race. And if you want to have any chance of catching Bradley Holly, you need to get every point possible, because Holly's moving through the field here a little bit and trying to come around. He's now up to P6. But Regan may realize he can't sit back here and wait forever if he wants to claim that point. But doing a job here, trying to get under him. But man, Morgan's doing a great job of holding him off. I think that might have been Morgan at the line right there.
Yes, indeed it was, but not down into turn 2's exit. Up to the lead, Richard Regan Jr. And right on schedule, lap 20 to the point. And this is where we've seen Regan Jr. fly.
So what this probably does mean for Regan, if you think big picture, is what Regan does not want, likely, is a caution towards the end of this race, because now we kind of think that maybe Morgan has the ability to drive the short run a little better, because he led the first, probably 18 laps of that run once he got to the front. So Regan might be hoping to stay green, or that if it's going to caution, it does so soon so that Morgan can't get a short run in after the yellow.
And the interesting in terms of this, remember, fixed setup in terms of this side of the oval card on Wednesday nights, and for the truck card for reference. However, Regan Jr. seems to be able to get to the bottom a little bit more efficiently than what we're seeing Morgan. Look at the line to line.
Yeah, and that can come from a lot of things. That can come from just a lot of seat time, which I know Regan, engulfs the hours compared to Morgan. Regan's well ahead in hours of seat time and experience. It can also come to some driving styles. And some drivers like to lift just a little and help plant that tire or that car down there. Look, there's Regan using the apron. Maybe he's listening to the broadcast.
Yeah, just trying to get a little matched up. However, Regan Jr. did back it down a bit to start the run. And that kind of sometimes can be the massive difference. Safe to start, then you're able to push longer, or rather be faster longer. You push hard short run, you risk buzzing the tires.
Yeah, you definitely do. And remember as well that there is a battle right now between these two for second and third in points. It's only separated by 3 points. So even if they can't beat Bradley Holly in points, these two guys are racing for second and third right here. So they're going to race hard as well all race long to see if they can beat each other. Regan doing a great job. He said holding the bottom a little bit lower on the corners than Morgan. And I think that is the difference in their speeds right now.
Now, for contrast, how are things going for Thomas Singh? You may be wondering. Remember, he started outside front row. Well, it's not going that great right now. He is falling into the clutches of both Colton Lane and Steve Loving for the 48 machine. 31.7 last time by. That's a 10th off the pace of every other car outside of maybe Colton Lane inside the top 8.
Yeah, doing a good job here. There you see Mark Kalin on the outside. By the way, that's a nice throwback paint scheme. We get a good look at that, by the way. I got a note on that 27. That is a classic Microsoft Windows 95 inspired paint scheme, Justin. That is a classic. It's a Microsoft themed car. And if you can see the hood of it, there's a nice Windows 95 logo on it. See the old classic? There it is. Look at that.
Yeah, nicely done on the looks, the aesthetics, as the 62 of Kalin tries to sit by the aesthetics. Did he say why he ran it today? Because I double-checked that it was an anniversary. It came out on August the 24th.
Says, I just wanted to change something that I haven't seen someone do, and it would be bright and easy to spot on the track. So no, there's no like anniversary, no logical, no personal connection. Just wanted to be different. He wanted screen time, and guess what? He got it.
He wanted to be Microsoft 95.
I mean, it's better than like, ME.
Good point. Or Vista.
Yeah, I mean, there's, he picked a decent... Listen, I'm just saying, with it being Windows 95, it's a solid chance that car won't crash. That's all I'm saying. If it was a Windows ME, it'd already be in the wall.
You're going to very much jinx it. This is a near 20-year-old operating system. Mark Kalin nearly hits the bumper for good measure.
He nearly shut him down.
Very punny. Very punny.
Yeah.
All that's well. It's worth noting, if you go towards the front a little bit, you may notice the 184 Bradley Holly, he's still on the go-go. He's in the top 5 now, after all. Dominic Begin holding on to the 4th spot in front of him. And slowly, Holly's picking up 4 spots. Again, Holly doesn't even need a run in the top 15 to win the title, essentially. He just needs to survive.
Yeah, and that's what he's kind of doing in his own Bradley Holly way, right? A lot of times we'll see Bradley a little bit more towards the front, maybe pushing a little bit more, but he's just kind of hanging out. But look at this beautiful 66 here. It's a nice paint scheme there on the 66. It's a nice looking machine here for Dominic Begin. Very simple, just black and white.
I was about to say, this paint scheme he's usually ran, but not sure if we've seen the Daily Racers and Daily Drivers logos, I should say, on the car. I mean, it is Vegas. It's a very good placement.
Yeah, it's a great placement there, right? So, team is doing a good job staying down here with Bradley Holly. Bradley also running a little bit lower than Dominic. You saw the same difference between Regan and Morgan earlier. So, you can see this a little bit of difference in the lines here for the different drivers as it's going on.
And that's the more tougher thing. We've seen a lot more packy-pack style racing, as in, side by side with the trucks, then single files, 20 laps. Now we're starting to see where the bottom line is the dominant line, but you can use later on, like we're seeing the 66 try, that top groove to get a run for the front stretch.
Of course, the danger of doing that every time you get up to the top groove, it means the wall's up there. And if you scrub that wall even a little, you're going to kill whatever momentum you're trying to do. The reason the top groove works, though, is it allows you to open up that wheel and let that car climb that hill. And without any turning radius into the car, without any turning happening, there's no friction. It doesn't slow the car down as much. And in theory, you pick up some speed out there. And now they're going to start to draft on to Daniel Knight here. So there'll be a little bit extra speed out of that.
He is right now slowly but surely trying to just play the defense. And part of the reason, too, is watch the run from Holly. He's much stronger through 1 and 2. Now Holly looking for a chance to go for a send to the inside. However, momentum topside yet again.
Ooh, momentum topside, and I think even Daniel Knight sort of got in the way, and not on purpose, but sort of, I think, made Bradley Holly check it up a little bit. And this is still the battle ongoing. Now Holly's going to try the topside. Holly says, hey, that works. That looks fun.
This time he tries to go in 1 and 2. He's actually further back than he was running the bottom. Same point for the entry. Daniel Knight for good measure now trying the middle, and that might play a bit of a factor taking away the clean air advantage. If anything, might force the 66 to check up here.
Yeah, 66 is going to get back in line for the moment. And see if he does anything different here.
But the answer is forced to the middle line, and chance for the 66. Was that the bad move or the good move? Holly elects to just bump draft Dominic Begin up the track.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a bump draft or simply, hey, I'm tired of being patient. By the way, they put them in separate lanes here. Man, what a great show of racing we have going on here. And man, it feels like Daniel Knight, when I say in the way, it's not a negative thing. It's not like you're in the way, like you're being a negative person, but he's just making passing difficult for these drivers. And look at this now, gaggle behind him. Now it's going to be Begin, Holly, Zinke, Sink. You know, even Colton Lane's probably going to get close to it if they keep up this battle. But look at that. What once was maybe a 3-car fight is now turned into a whole little gaggle here.
Yeah, they're starting to lose a lot of ground. They've lost 2 seconds to the leaders just about. However, that's just how quick those top 2 have been, up to 3/4 tenths quicker than everybody else in the field. Holly looking for the cut. Nearly hit the fender. And it looks like he's got it. Holly to close, and now he's trying to cut off Begin, trying to take his line. No, Begin says not so much.
Yeah, not going to let them have it that easy. I was going to say, the reason why these drivers look like they have urgency right here, by the way, is now they're starting to think, hey, maybe Knight is slower. Maybe he's holding us up. Now, if I get around him, maybe I can go catch the leaders. That's what they're thinking. Whether that's factual or not factual is a different conversation. But that's what you begin to think in your head a little bit.
And already Thomas Sink, as a result of all this, is saying, you know what? Maybe I can get my spots back. He's the only driver willing to try the bottom of the racetrack. Fortunately, that top line just seems very difficult to defend right now.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it really does. It seems like right now that's the place to be, and that carries so much momentum that the only way that you're probably going to get someone right now who's up in that top lane is if they do scrub the wall and they do kill their momentum. Then you'll get around them. But look at Sink here, pretty persistent on the bottom here. You see that yellow car, that's Thomas Sink in the back of the shot there, being too wide with Dominic here. Now Bradley Holly's up to 4th, by the way, doing everything he can to secure that points title.
Well, I think really for Holly, it's more so finish strong, right? He just needed to basically be on the track. Here's the thing. He's not only on the track, he is one of the better drivers on the track. He just didn't have the good qualifying run up at the front. He had to go through, you know, the hornet's nest on screen.
Yeah, had to, and has done a pretty good job of it. By the way, as we now are on lap 42, this should mean that Richard Regan has reclaimed the award for most laps led in this race. So he's now looking to get that bonus point as of this moment for most laps led. We've not been showing the lead because really there's nothing going on. It's him and Morgan 1.3 seconds apart. You can see it on the top of the scoring pylon. This right here is the battle, this gaggle right here. And at one point, I thought Daniel Knight was slower than these guys, Justin, but they can't pass him, so maybe he's not.
If anything, they're all just about equal. That's Zemke getting to the outside of Sink for a moment. And Sink just cut off Zemke's nose. Sink not getting a lot of loving for the back bumper on his car. The front bumper, the 57, had to really lift.
Had to lift a lot is what he had to do there. So you see just how people are now just getting a little antsy. They want to get, you know, past someone. They want to make a move, and the longer you sit in this line, the more desperate you get to try to make something happen. And Bradley Holly, I mean, being very, very patient here with Daniel Knight. Curious to see if Bradley Holly tries to push it to the inside or the outside here. Because what about Daniel Knight, he just grabbed the wall. That's going to kill that momentum, and I'm pretty sure Bradley Holly will make the pass up there as a result of it, and he does make the pass. Right there it is. Yep, that's the danger running the wall. Daniel Knight just showed you.
Knight now has fender damage, and now that brings the risk of everybody else running the wall. Do they get too close to it? Dominic Begin has also picked up fender damage in the midst of the fights. Everybody else has avoided making contact with the wall for now.
Yeah, for now is the key word, because it just takes one scrub of the wall. And, you know, you've often heard me talk about that. I think there's two types of walls in iRacing. There's huggers and there's bouncers. There's some walls in iRacing that if you hit them, they sort of bounce you off like a pinball. And there's ones that sort of hug onto you and they'll really kill your run. And the walls at Vegas are one of those walls where it feels like any touch of that wall, it just sort of grabs onto you and brings that car so slow that it's hard to deal with.
More contact this time to the wall. The 66 again up in front of them. Looks like the 60. Colton Lanemont still shuffling. There's the look of the 66. And he's in the wall again. There goes the close call with Sink. Near contact again. Here comes the choo-choo train.
So remember, at this point, we are almost halfway through this race. We're 25 minutes in. Those tires are wearing off. And now these cars that maybe at the beginning were challenging to drive at best are going to become very, very difficult. And this is where we can see drivers make mistakes as these tires wear off, unless we start to see some pit stops.
Lane trying to play to the bottom of the racetrack. Kalen starting to try and charge again. Bubbles the wall sponge has done everything possible to avoid the walls tonight. Usually the 62's MO is ride the wall and then hug the wall and stay in the wall and then make a pass after that and then try and recover from the wall. I'm joking. He co-announced the Cup race on Sunday.
Yeah, Mark's done a great job, by the way, at co-announcing this season's covered in for some people. Covered in for me this weekend when I was not feeling well, so thank you, Mark, for doing that. He hung out with you at Atlanta, and I think watched Chris Hudson get a win on Sunday night, so thank you, Mark, for filling in there. But now Mark's going to use the apron here.
And he's trying to get around Zemke. Trying to use the middle. Zemke, though, not running to the wall. That little pinch is at least for now going to allow Zemke contact behind him. Dominic Begin lost it again. Contact with Ted Lowendick. They stay green as everyone shuffles and straightens out behind as they keep side by side on screen.
So I know before the truck race tonight, JP, there was some instruction from race control about if you do decide to use the apron down here, it is your responsibility as a driver to find your way back in and do it safely. Was not here for the Grand National pre-race. We were still doing interviews, but I'm positive they got the same words from race control tonight. So if you do want to use that apron like Mark did, just be confident you can get back up there, or you could lose a lot of spots.
And the reason we don't see that too often, one, he's lost side by side with Zemke, but two, a lot of drivers get very loose there off that corner because you're essentially putting more radius in. I've seen people spin it in this car because of the flat.
Yep. Oh, yeah, you can easily spin it in these cars. I mean, I believe of the 3 NASCAR top tier cars, the Cup, the Grand National, or the trucks, these are the easiest ones to get loose regardless. Here's the contact you were talking about a second ago. Ooh. Dominic came down off the wall and then made contact with Lowendick. You're right, everybody kept it moving forward and kept it going. And everyone is good. Reese Bogue had a major checkup back there to try to avoid it.
Cross flags up at the air. 28 minutes to go. It's Zemke who opens the pit window. He's the only driver pit at midway. Drivers can go up to 66 laps usually at Las Vegas Motor Speedway on the iRacing service. So we'll see how long these drivers go at. Regan Jr., by the way, has set sail by more than 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's done a great job here, is pulling away from Morgan and the rest of the field. The reason I like what Zemke did there is because when you cut a race purely in half, assuming it stays green, then when we get to the end of the race, you're going to know how that car is going to behave, because it's probably going to behave the same way it behaved in the first half of the race. There's no mystery. There's no what ifs. It's predictable. And I'm a person who loves predictability. But what it does mean is that he's probably going to take a little bit more fuel right now and put himself in a weird spot if the caution comes out.
Pit stop this time as well for Steve Loving. He indicated that in turn 3. Also in, James Morgan. He's throwing the dice with the undercut. And that might be an interesting play. Regan Jr. keeping going as to be expected.
Yeah, so the question now will be how much time can be made up on new tires? How much time can you really gain here? Because if you run this car, quote unquote empty, so that's about 12 more laps from where we are right now. That's going to be less than 20 minutes. The question would be, can you justify taking tires? Is the fuel stop long enough at that point to take tires, is what I'm trying to say. And if not, what are you giving up in the process? So we'll have to keep an eye on Morgan's laps here for a couple times and see what he can or can't do with that. Dominic Begin also now down on pit road.
It's not as much fall off as you'd think. Only 1.2 seconds on average. That was a tight call. Thomas Sink coming on in. Richard Regan Jr. is in. Looks like the RBM lap. Reese Bogue is in. Everybody on the team is in.
Well, and that sort of kills the idea of the undercut by Morgan with Regan coming in right now, because it means there's not much difference in those tires. There's, I think, Jeff Evans, if I ever can see that number correctly, still out here running.
I believe that's Holly, actually. He's the
Holly,
leader.
You're right. Sorry, you're right. Pink cars. I got them confused. So Holly, late decision.
Has to try to cover off at the pass. Knight also in this time. Also in Westerfield, Dalton Geyer. That leaves. No surprise, Colton Lane out on racetrack. He's done this a lot over his oval career. Ted Lowendick doing the same. Mark Kalin, Jeff Evans, Nick McLaughlin hoping for a caution.
Yeah, that would be their best case scenario, wouldn't it, to have a caution come out to where they could do it. But here comes Colton Lane, Lowendick. I think I see that Kalin in the background. I think I see there's Jeff Evans. Now I got the right pink car, all of them down. And there's Nick McLaughlin behind him. That should be just about everybody that was left out here to pit, I believe.
And there goes Bradley Holly. Holly out of the pit lane. Don't spin it. He nearly spin it. Nearly turned his car into spinach.
Wouldn't it be worse? Because if he gets that car above that white line before the blue cone you saw on the track there, he'll eat a penalty that'll cause him to come back down pit road. And that would have been a massive, massive hit to his championship run here. But now here is Morgan now running down a car. I think that's Dominic he's running on. That's Regan. Wrong color. That's Regan. You're right. I couldn't see the front of the car from that camera shot. So he has closed that gap. Did Regan have a slow stop?
I think more so. Regan was 2 tenths quicker last time. 2 laps the difference. Regan Jr. can settle on in and save it on down. You know who gained a lot of time on the undercut call by the way? Adam Zemke, and the Detroit Gasket Machine is in 3rd.
Yeah, you're right. Did a great job, did Zemke, getting up here to P3, now being competitive here. Steve Loving currently running 4th according to the scoring pylon. That's a big jump for him as well. There's the pit stop times. You're right. I mean, Morgan was a 10th slower in the box. I'm curious if Regan just, if Morgan had a better entry. It's odd to me that Morgan closed that much time with just an undercut.
I mean, 2 laps, 1 second a lap on fall off. You do the math, that's where it's equalized. Now, expect this to stretch out as the run continues with another 23 minutes to go on the season. Regan Jr., if it stays green, is in the driver's seat for the win, but not the title for the first time in a while.
No, not the title. He'll likely finish P2 in points. If he wins this race, you see your points leader and probable points champion back there, Bradley Holly, not locked in, but as this race goes on, it seems to become a little bit more and more and more of a reality that this could be the case for Bradley Holly here. Had a great season, only missed 1 race. That drop week is 0. That was when I believe they went down to see a race together at RBM. The Daytona 24 is the weekend they missed.
Now, here's the thing for Bradley Holly. He's an all-time race winner in that, in the history of the PRL, when you look at how many times that 184 has gone to victory lane, it's staggering. 120 wins. 69 of them have come on Wednesday nights. He's also picked up a couple sprint car wins as well as 17 wins in Miatas or in G86s. However, the last time he won a championship on this night, in terms of PRL Oval competition, about 2 to 3 years ago. It's been a while for an all-time great to be able to lift that championship trophy. Virtual victory lane, a 14-time champion before Richard Regan Jr. essentially won 4 of the next 5 titles.
Yeah, it'd be great to see Bradley Holly get that chance to hoist that virtual trophy again and find that pride and that confidence in doing so. Right now, running right behind Richard Sink, just doing his best not to bump him, not to touch him. Just riding along here, trying to feel comfortable. About 20 minutes left here. With every passing moment, Bradley Holly can breathe this a little bit easier, knowing that the title is that much closer.
And one of his drivers that he's had to battle with over the years. He's been a teammate, now he's a foe. Thomas Sink, the next in line. This is the battle for 5th. And Sink doesn't want to make it easy. There's the pinch. But Bradley Holly has the fresher rubber. He and Steve Loving both up for grabs for Holly, as Bradley Holly looks for 4th next time by.
Yeah, so a great run here by everybody. A nice long run, as we thought it would be a smaller field, and a lot of drivers took the week off and had some different family things going on, some different vacations. So maybe a smaller field than the trucks, but still a great race happened. A lot of technical racing going on, a lot of different lines forming, drivers making different choices, different pit calls, the things that can really just sort of makes racing so technical.
And it is a very technical car in the sense that it's not like the trucks where it's a lot of full throttle or near full throttle. Just blip the throttle and you're good for the corner. It's not like the next gen car where it's 5 gears. You have all sorts of different factors with the power bands, with the speed, but also the downforce packages are different depending on the racing circuit. But the Xfinity Series car is quite simple. Or should I say Grand National car, it's quite simple. Low downforce, hard to drive, had to be careful on throttle, has a lot of side force, and in turn is very aero sensitive, but also very fun in the sense you can fight in this car if you're good in it.
Well, and that's sort of the interesting fact about these different vehicles in the NASCAR series, right? Is how everyone feels about these cars. And we think about when we did the interviews at the end of the truck race, you heard that the Adams Family Racing may be coming up to the Grand Nationals next season, but then just heard, no, I'm a truck guy. I love the trucks. And so everyone sort of has a different affinity, if you will, for these different cars and what order they prefer them in and how they drive. So, Bradley obviously loves these vehicles. Then you have maybe someone like a Patrick Cowgill or a Zach Panzarella who loves the trucks. And so there's, obviously you have the guys in the Cup cars on Sundays who love those cars. So obviously there's a lot of different opinions. By the way, that X word you used, reports are, Justin, that's changing next season. That maybe there'll be a new sponsor for this real life series in 2025.
Not going to touch too much upon that, but there is an inkling to consider. Remember, series like PRL have multiple sponsors. NASCAR in Canada, the last series to change the name branding, has gone in line to the Cup Series in sponsorship model. Who's not to say that it becomes the Grand National Series again?
It very could. Yeah, it very much could. Of course, this series in real life has, at least in the States, I don't know what you guys have in Canada next year. In the States, we have one TV network that will host all 34, 32 races.
Yeah, I know exactly what the network you're talking about.
I can't think how many races there are, but in Canada, are you
33.
guys getting one network? 33, thank you. Are you guys getting one network next year as well?
It usually is the case, but
okay,
it's worth noting that in regards to the model, the signs are there, but that's not the topic on hand. The topic on hand is the battle for 8th position, after all, where Colton Lane wants to channel his inner Mark Martin and try and cool and calmly keep the 60 away from pressure.
You said channel his inner Mark Martin. I thought he was going to come down pit road a lap early. That's what I thought you meant, but I get it now.
No, he's already crashed into pit road before in PRL competition. That technically is channeling inner Mark Martin, but still. By the way, Bradley Hawley is up in the top 3. That's the bright side. The downside is he's 5 seconds back of the leader.
I mean, really, we've not put camera time on him because he's just, there's a lot of battles going on, but a lot of praise for Richard Regan Jr. if we can head up there for a second. I love talking with Richard. Richard's a man of many words and a lot of opinions, and I have a lot of respect for Richard as a driver. When I talked to him earlier tonight, I just said, hey, Richard, what's the goal for tonight? JP, I got one word out of Richard today: dominance. Well, that's what it is right now.
I mean, I know there's people who ask, what's the best way to have fun? And then they look at me weird when I say, I like to lap the field. That's basically the same thing Richard Regan Jr. said. People like to dominate in terms of races.
Yeah, winning is fun. And right now, Richard's having a blast if that's the case because, yeah, that one word dominance, he has put on a masterclass of dominance tonight. This obviously has the long run speed here and has left Morgan behind for a second time here, already putting about 2.2 seconds on him. When considering they were back together after the pit stops, I mean, they were back together again. So it looks like Richard Regan, likely to come home P2 in the points, has probably now locked up the title of most laps led this evening, has led a lap this evening, and as of now, looking to win this race. So Bradley Hawley's just too close, though. Bradley Hawley's going to keep that points gap real and is going to make sure that he probably secures the points title.
Under 15 minutes on the season. And for Wednesday nights before, should be an eventful Week 13. Let's touch upon the All-Star Invitational next week on Race Spot. You can already probably guess Regan Jr. amongst those in very firm position for that chance. James Morgan stamping his invitation last time out in the series. It's been an exciting year, you have to give credit, throughout this entire campaign. So far, this series has had 5 different winners. Gonna likely stay the case, but still. First-time winners like Morgan, really part of the showcase tonight as there's Colton Lane for 7th.
Yeah, 5 winners in 9 different races. That's a pretty awesome number here for any league, especially for PRL. So great job all season long to those drivers. The All-Star race next week will be 2 races, and they will sort of add up the quote-unquote points to determine a winner, JP. The races will be a mystery to the drivers until 24 hours before the green flag.
So, as they continue to shuffle through here, amongst those trying to make some ground back up with the strategy differentials, Daniel Knight, it's worth noting, he's now in the group. This Gaggle originally, mind you, was for the top 5, not so much now. However, the tires have really started to equalize out for the most part, unless you're 2 to 3 laps older, like the 66. If you're within 1 or 2 laps, you can battle.
Yeah, you can definitely battle. And there's some really great battles going on here that maybe aren't side by side. Maybe they're not door to door, but they're definitely very technical battles happening here where just one slip up could probably cost you, 3 or 4 spots here. If Caleb were to have one bad corner here, one bad run, we could easily see a few cars get by him. So this is I think the more traditional style of racing that we sort of have kind of forgotten about over the past 2 or 3 weeks of, Daytona and Atlanta and stuff like that. But Lowendick here is trying to go to the outside and see if he can make that pass here on Daniel Knight. Daniel, by the way, once was P3, obviously having a hard time as this race goes on.
Give credit to Ted Lowendick. He has recovered from a very rough start. And that not like he was sliding around or going backwards. He just didn't have the speed early. It seems like Ted has finally found a grip of the track now that it's not only rubbered up, but it's actually gotten hotter as the laps have been turned into the rubber.
Yeah, it has gotten a little hotter. You can see the track temp's gone up, I think, 2 degrees Fahrenheit since when we started. Yeah, Ted's doing a great job here. Ted's another driver who's locked in to the All-Star race next week here live on Race Spot. So keep an eye out for him. Maybe the banana suit will come out, maybe a shoey. Who knows? Ted, of course, living over there in Ohio, Justin. Talk about a crazy week of weather where you wouldn't feel good. It snowed last week. It apparently was like 60 degrees Fahrenheit over the weekend. That's pretty decent weather. Not perfect, but maybe light jacket weather. And now it's back down to below freezing.
I mean, as someone who is about an hour's driving distance from the Ohio border, that's normal. I mean, who else's winters are one day it's snowing, the next day it's 27 degrees Celsius or around 60, 70 degrees Fahrenheit. The next day it's raining. The next day it's just cool. The next day it's a blizzard. The next day you have a tornado. The next day the sky is green. The next day it's very hot again. The next day it's a blizzard outside for 3 hours and then it's hot again.
Yeah, those are very difficult days on the body. So as far as I know, Ted's feeling okay, but those are difficult days on the body when the temperatures keep changing and you're opening windows and closing windows and getting all that air in the house. And so glad to see Ted out here. But yeah, we just made a note of that and just said, hey, the weather's been rough this week and kind of hard to deal with. So Ted, of course, as I said, an Ohio native, provided a lot of entertainment this season, had the banana suit out. We've seen his that case he has in the background for his display cars. All kinds of cool things about Ted. Ted's a longtime member of the PRL. One of the first people I met in PRL was I watched Ted do a shoey after winning a race.
I remember one of those moments too. Like, one day you feel it, and the next day it's like, going out to after he wins a race, it's like, have you seen him do the shoey yet? Ted's like, no. I'm going to grab the shoe. Let's go grab it.
I don't know if it was just you or someone else that did that to me. I had the same experience. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's a thing.
That was 3 years ago.
Here.
Oh, Kalen trying to close up and get it a little bit darty to the wall.
Thought maybe he was going to smack the wall there, but I think he saved it from doing so. Now Lowendick is side by side with the Windows car.
Yeah, that Windows car is a little bit slow on the updates to the pace. Let me rephrase that. He's on older tires and it's not working.
Yeah, back in Windows 95 era, we didn't have automatic updates. He would have to have gone in there and done the updates by hand. That's a good reference. So I like the pun there. It's well done.
Yeah. Either wait 6 hours for the download or buy the floppy disk.
6 hours for the download. That's the most honest comment I've heard in a long time. Oh gosh, the days of 6 hour downloads were just, yeah, that was it. Yeah.
I mean, have you not noticed as he tries to not wreck the car, everybody's in the wall. Colton Lane, Adam Zemke, and several more shuffling to the wall. And this is where fresh tires and old tires convey. Battle for second. Bradley Holly has trimmed the gap and then some to James Morgan. He looks to get it done the best way he can from right now. As long as the second pack doesn't implode, he looks like he's in prime spot for second right now.
And Morgan's likely to race him a little bit here, but let him go. The last thing Morgan wants to do is to race Bradley too hard and make a mistake and have some impact on the overall standings for the season. Morgan will race Bradley hard and respectfully. They shared a lot of respect for each other after the race last week. They shared some comments and some thank yous and congratulations and whatnot. So, but if Morgan starts to think he can't race Bradley, he'll move over. He said he just doesn't want to affect this points race in any negative way besides just being involved in it.
There's that little fight we were expecting. Holly, hard inside, trying to slam the door on Morgan. And Morgan nearly spun it, trying to cross it. That didn't work.
They both almost spun it. Bradley got so wide out there to the outside. I thought he was going to loop it around on his own, but you're right. Morgan tried the crossover, and that didn't work. So that'll put Holly in second, Morgan in third. And I mean, not that it wasn't already, but a second place by Holly just guarantees the Season 1 points title.
So under 7 minutes to go on the season. The lights are turning on around the racetrack. What a picturesque end to the evening, end to the season here. Keep in mind, we're about a minute or two away from the point of no return. And from then on out, no matter what, Regan Jr. is in line for the checker flag if it stays green for another minute. Better yet, Bradley Holly is in line regardless for the championship. As long as he doesn't fall below the top 15, he's got it.
Hard to say, and I almost hate to say this because I don't want to jinx it, but as long as Holly isn't the caution, he is your points champion as of this moment. See, now he's putting a little bit of gap here onto Morgan. You see Thomas sink in the background of that shot slowly here. Man, look how much higher Bradley Holly is getting in that corner of James Morgan. Morgan's just not comfortable up against the wall or what's going on there, but Holly rides it so much better.
But he's also been versatile in that he's tried the bottom, he's tried the top. He's comfortable both lines. If you can't have the grip comfortably, it's going to be hard. And for Morgan, remember the undercut, we were expecting the fall off. Maybe not 5-6 seconds of fall off, but we've seen the fall off.
And I think part of this, honestly, with respect, comes down to practice time as well. Listen, for right now, Morgan's a single car team. He comes out here and practices and gets ready for the races, but you compare him to, RBM, comparing to what those drivers get to come out here and practice together and get those notes and share. Sometimes you're going to find out more when you get teammates out here to race. So hopefully next season, Morgan has some teammates out here representing Tabula Rasa Esports and can have those moments of clarity when he gets to share some notes. But what a great run. I mean, as we said before, finished 19th last season in points and likely to finish third here tonight.
Follow-up question to that point. How many drivers will be racing with James Morgan on his team next season?
At least one more. I'm hoping two. I considered it myself, but I'm happy up here with you. So I will be in the booth, but at least a couple I'm hoping.
Point of no return official. Next flag ends the race. Regan Jr., Bradley Holly, still your top two. And for Regan Jr., He's in line for what would be his third win of the season here, but Bradley Holly in line for his first championship on a Wednesday night since 2022.
That's a crazy stat, by the way. I know you mentioned it earlier, and we kind of glossed over because there was racing happening, but when you think about how much Bradley wins and how often he's consistent in his finishes, that's a crazy stat. Like, I don't think I would have guessed that if you'd have done like your trivia question of the day. That's crazy to me that it's been, 2 years since he's won a title.
14 times he's won on this night, whether it's in a truck or Grand National competition. But he still needs to run clean for another 6 or so laps to end off the campaign. Mind you, he's fallen a bit back in the Cup campaign these days. He's still the all-time Cup champion with 5 as well.
Yeah, Bradley's really just done it all through PRL. A great driver and a great representative and ambassador for this brand as well. So glad to see Bradley here. We got about 2.5 minutes here as we cross under the flag. See Barney, the flagman, up there, hanging out, waiting for this race to end. The lights are on. I would have loved to have seen how this race would have behaved if it actually was a night race.
Up front, Regan Jr. has been getting loose. He's losing a bit of the rears. Doesn't matter, though. He's still up 5.3 seconds.
Well, and that can happen a little bit. When you do put this kind of dominance on the field, he probably pushed to get that far ahead. He didn't just get there by accident. So you can push sometimes. You can burn off the tires. But now he can sit back. I see it again a little bit there. He's at 5 seconds. If I was in his ears, I'd be like, listen, let's back it down a little bit. You don't have to push hard anymore. You're 5 seconds ahead. Only a few laps to go. Don't be stupid.
Finish the season. That's the goal with 3 laps estimated to go. It's been pure domination for Regan Jr. right to the goal of 80 laps. Holly did lead a lap, mind you, but he is just a few miles away from taking flight and getting to pop the championship celebration.
Looking very calm in the camera shot. He's very relaxed, very focused. Not a lot of talking, not a lot of, other distractions going on. It doesn't seem like. He's going to turn around a couple more laps here now. Less than a minute. So probably, I'm guessing 3 laps would be the count at this time.
The estimate's about 2. It depends where Regan Jr. is at the front straightaway here. About 32 second-ish should be needed. Here's Barney. Is there going to be a flag change? Keep an eye on it. 35, 34, 33. He didn't see the white. 2 to go. In theory.
In theory, yeah. We've seen Barney do some weird things here with the flags in PRL and these timed races, but I think you're right. I believe 2 to go is the call. You'll see the white flag come out as Regan comes around this time. Regan really running the middle of the track, by the way. I'm guessing that's a sign of how loose the car has become, that he's deciding to keep it there in the middle. Here is the white flag.
White flag is out. Final time around from Las Vegas for the Grand National Series in Season 1. Bradley Holly just 1.5 miles away from a championship. For Richard Regan Jr., he's been on a tear since the start of the night. Played the cards patient. Thought about when to hold him, knew when to fold him, and knew when to go for the jackpot. Richard Regan Jr. wins his 3rd race of the season and scores big in Vegas. However, for the first time in 2 years, the 184, the all-time champion in PRL, adds to the list. It's Bradley Holly, who becomes a PRL champion once again.
What a great run by both drivers on a race that goes green the whole way. Both drivers managed that car in different methods to make sure they got what they wanted out of it. Congrats to both of them.
His first Wednesday night championship since the middle of 2022. It's been a while. He's been a winner since the championships, obviously. But what a run. And what a fight. And in the end, consistency is the name of the game. That consistency in surviving Atlanta, the difference.
Yeah, that's the big difference, right? This is a great run here for the 184, and you'll probably do some burnouts here. And slowing it down here. Is he going to do the burnout? Maybe not. But he's waiting for Richard to do it. I don't know.
Regan Jr. is currently doing a burnout. And now, it's Holly's stage. For Bradley Holly, another championship to the belt. Career championship number 22. His 15th on a Wednesday night.
That's impressive numbers. A 15th title on a Wednesday night. That's just wow.
So what a night for Whataback Racing. A first-time champion on one side, the return to championship glory for a legend on the other. Let's take a look at the race results here tonight and what was an eventful night overall in Vegas. Richard Regan Jr., Bradley Holly, James Morgan, Thomas Sink, Ted Lowendick, your top five. Ted Lowendick very quietly got that top five, by the way. Colton Lane, Mark Kalin, Adam Zemke, and Daniel Knight. Steve Loving did not like the tires, I'm guessing, at the end. He finished 10th. 11th spot, Jeff Evans, after starting at the tail of the field. Reese Bogue is also amongst those who will be on the next page grouping. Jim Westerfield, Dominic McGinn, Nick McLaughlin, Nick Byer along with Dalton Gayer. Also, amongst those on the lead lap, every car tonight finished on the lead lap here in Vegas. But for the first time in a couple years, the driver of the 184 car, Bradley Holly, is a champion in the PRL. Bradley, it's been a while since an oval championship. Welcome back.
Yeah, it has been a while. It feels good.
Very nonchalant for your 15th championship on a night like this. And 22nd in your career in PRL.
I mean, with this season and how we had basically two back-to-back Super Speedway races, it was going to come down to who can survive the most, and this year it was me, luckily. And Richard had some bad luck, and honestly, if he wouldn't have had bad luck in one race, either Atlanta or Daytona, he probably would have won this.
But that being said, in terms of yourself being the championship, what goes to the mind finally breaking through after a few years? No matter the circumstances, you've won a lot of titles, but it has been a while.
Yeah, I think it's been over a year and a half, maybe longer.
2 years.
2 years? Huh. Hey, I mean, I'll take it. It was a tough season. Richard, was always very difficult to beat, and I keep trying to improve myself. I just got to start working on qualifying again, so I can fight him for wins more often, and have a little bit more fun.
Now, do have one quick question. I'm curious on what that camera behind your shoulder is on, because it looks like an inflatable.
This camera?
Yes.
That should be on my. It's on a chair.
That's a chair.
Yes, that's a chair. That's not for my my other gaming computer.
Oh, that is the opposite of an inflatable. Okay, that answers that question.
Yeah, from the camera shot we see from your webcam, we can just see the top of it. It looks kind of shiny and puffy. So we thought it was like was he getting like an inflatable balloon, or we were like, what is that camera sitting on? So yeah, it's a weird one.
That's the chair that Leroy sits on when it's Halloween time.
Gotcha. But anyone you want to thank for being a part of the championship tonight? 2 Whataback championships, by the way, this evening.
Yeah, Waterback had a good season 1 this year, so I want to thank you guys for broadcasting us week in and week out. I want to thank everybody in the Waterback crew for doing what we need to do to try to be up front and battle it out. And everybody in the PRL, Richard, I love James, everybody that I had to fight this year on track has been a blast.
Well, congratulations, Bradley. Congrats on the title.
Thank you.
Bradley Hawley comes away as a champion here tonight. The race win going to Richard Regan Jr. He's with Derek.
Richard, you and I talked before the race. You left me one word, which for you is kind of odd. With all respect to you, you and I talk a lot. You're never a one word person, but you said dominance was the word you said to me. Well, you did that. You showed dominance tonight.
Yeah, I've had some bad luck this season, and the last 2 weeks I've been wrecked out 2 in a row. So I kind of going into this season didn't really think I would have a shot at the championship because I was gonna miss Nashville. But when they brought the drop week back, it gave me some confidence, some hope, and just to get wrecked out 2 weeks in a row was pretty annoying to me. Especially last week and how it happened. But I just that really lit a fire under my butt, and it's just my whole plan is just to dominate the rest of the year. And I'm not trying to be cocky or nothing, but we start the real season now with the real tracks that we're coming up to. So I'm just hoping to put together a good strong season next season, and we got to survive Talladega and we have a road course thrown in there too. So just going to try to build some momentum for next season.
Well, yes, you already answered my next question, which is you're coming back for next season. So I'll ask you about the beginning of the race. We saw Morgan briefly get around you at the start of the race. Was that a strategy to let him go and burn up his stuff, or what was going on there?
Yeah, I had a lap time I wanted to hit every lap, especially the first 10 to 15 on how to save my tire, because it's very easy not to save your stuff here. And it wasn't so bad the second run because the track temp was going down. Obviously it was turning into the evening, so I just wanted to be patient, and I was running the same lap time, and I'd close up on him, and I don't know if he thought I was pushing or not, but anytime I'd close up on him, he'd just push harder. So I kind of just started using that to my advantage, and I kept seeing him slip and slide, and I felt like the opportunity was there to finally make the move, and just try to put myself in a good spot for the pit stop there.
Well, listen, you're a fun competitor to talk to. I enjoy, getting your notes every week. So congrats on the win tonight. Congrats on P2 for the season. And we'll see you in a few weeks.
Yeah, thank you. Let me give a special shout out to my boy Garrett Austin getting his first win in the PRL Truck Series earlier tonight. I got to give a shout out to Mission 22, Multiple Sclerosis Society, Neonism Paints. You need a paint, go to facebook.com/neonism and tell them the PRL sent you. 44 Ever, Team Conti, everybody at RBM, everybody at RaceSpot, and PRL.
There you go. Well, Richard, congrats again. We'll see you soon.
Thanks.
All right. That is P2 and Richard Regan Jr. Now we'll wrap up the night by talking with James Morgan.
Yes, indeed. James, first things first, the top 3 once again here to follow up on the win last time out. How was the car feeling as the night progressed? James.
Yeah, I felt really good going into this race, kind of about this track overall. I was able to take some time on Monday and Tuesday and put some laps and everything in. My main concern overall going in was kind of qualifying and how to manage tires over a long run. And I kind of figured we would have, long green flag run at some point throughout this race. It's just kind of how the seasons went on these 1.5 mile type tracks. I definitely need to improve, and that's kind of a goal for next season of long runs and tire management.
And in turn, how has this season been as a whole? We obviously seen you break through last time. Now, with that being said, how has it been building the name brand of your team boss would like you to say your name of your team as you explain it?
So yeah, it's been incredible. Incredible season coming back from finishing 19th last season overall. Last season was kind of like a building season, getting comfortable in the league and everything. Today we were able to put Tabula Rasa Esports on the car, so that was really cool. It's a really good paint scheme. It's one of my favorite paint schemes that we have, that blue and black. So it's really good to be able to go out there and lead a couple laps early in the race, especially, and kind of put a show on for it. Derek and everyone over there does a great job. So that was really cool to do for a little bit. I was trying to manage a little bit once I got in front of Richard Regan, but he's so good at these things. It's really hard to outmanage him on a long run, and you can definitely see there on the second run he was definitely a lot better.
Now, that being said, your team boss, Derek, over here did allude to at least one of your fellow teammates jumping on through for Grand National competition. In turn, what is that going to be like next season, knowing you're not only likely going to be back, but also have some teammates to make it a team fight?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be great, especially to have someone to throw more ideas back and forth based off of the timing and everything. Kind of on the oval side, you don't get too many where there's time involved. So it'll be great to have someone else to throw ideas off of with strategy and everything, and be able to be more competitive within the points next season as well.
Anyone you want to thank on the run tonight?
This is a really fun league. Signups are open. You guys should join. This is a great ran league and everything. I got to shout out Derek again. Everyone over at Tabula Rasa Esports. Got to throw that in there twice. But yeah, it was a really fun season overall. To be able to finish top 3 after the season I had last year, I mean, it's been really incredible. Hopefully we can keep this going into season 2. There's going to be some tracks on there I'm going to be a lot more concerned about than season 1. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we can keep it going forward.
Well, thank you very much for your time, James. Congratulations on the top 3.
Thank you, guys.
That's James Morgan. Rounding out your top 3 here tonight. I'd like to thank everyone to take the time to speak with us here from Vegas. You're on Race Spot. That being said, remember that signups are open for the next PRL seasons. The Precision Racing League has that at precisionracingleague.com. You can sign up for a variety of series, including the Cup Series, the LMP3 and GT4 Challenge, GTPs and LMP2s, the GT3 Fixed and Sprint Series, Grand National and Truck Series, Formula D Challenge competition. How about a little bit of Super Formula for you? You have all the options available. Be sure to sign up today. With that being said, Derek, well done on the season. Your final thoughts as we go, whoa, to the exit.
We haven't talked about that. My final thoughts, this has been a fun season. Personally, it's our first season working back together in a while. You have no idea how much I enjoy working with you. Dane has been an incredible producer this season. I've had a lot of fun with this crew. Nicholas Hunter for helping out. So I'm excited for next season. I don't know if you're coming back for next season. I've not asked you personally, and I'm just trying to put you in the spot, but I hope you are. You're incredible at what you do, and you deserve all the praise.
On that note, it's time to say goodbye from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. For broadcast partner Derek Watson, for our producer Dane Baird, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching the PRL and its Trucking Grand National Series from Vegas. Congratulations to your champions. Be sure to sign up for Season 2 today.